Months after Angela's recovery, life seemed to get better. She had a balanced school and Christian life relationship until one day when her past came knocking again. She began receiving anonymous letters with ominous cryptic messages that seemed to allude to her past trauma. On her way to school one early morning, she opened the door and a note fell off. As she read, her fingers trembled. "The game isn't over. I am closer than you think." Angela looked around but didn't see anyone. She quickly ran off to her lectures. But the letters became more frequent. They were more personal, containing details only Williams or someone close to him would know. Angela was scared as she had the feeling of being watched. This continued, but the day she received a mysterious phone call with a voice whispering details of her past and alluding to the unfinished business was when she knew that the matter was very serious. She then contacted Dr. Eunice, who was now her trusted confidant. After going through the messages and letters together, Dr. Eunice suspected William's involvement or someone from his cult. "Angela, you need to be very careful. I think the cult Williams belonged to are still hanging around looking for you. For all we know, we don't have full details of how deep he went or the information he gave them about you. Since they failed spiritually, they might want to come at you physically." Angela's heart was pounding in her chest heavily. "What did I do to deserve this? Please, doctor, help me. I don't want to fall into their trap again. I thought everything had ended. Please help me." Dr. Eunice embraced Angela and consoled her. "It's okay, Angela. Nothing will happen to you. We just need to get to the root of the matter. If only the police had been able to meet Williams before he ran mad, maybe they could have traced the other members of the cult through him. I believe it is best you stay with me for now. But first, we need to go to the station to know the progress of Williams. Let's just pray he gets better because the police needs him to get to the cult." Angela nodded and they agreed on when to go to the station. Meanwhile, in confinement, Williams receives a visit from a mysterious visitor who claims to be from his past. Williams was still yet to recover from his illness by now, and so he had no idea who the person was. This person then touches Williams' forehead with a black cloth, and for a second, Williams seemed to regain his senses. "Sparrow, what are you doing here? What am I doing here?" Williams asked as he looked around confused. The man, who had an ominous look on his face, then bent closer to Williams and said to him, "Do you think you could escape from us? We own you, Williams, and you have unfinished business with us." Williams shifted backwards and looked around to see if anyone was close. But I tried. I did everything you asked for. I thought you already had her. I can't even remember anything that's happened since then. Please, just leave me alone. I'm no longer interested anymore." Sparrow smiled maliciously. "Little boy, you don't have a choice now. You must complete your task. The Brotherhood is waiting." The little girl can't be too powerful, can she? Williams knew better than to argue any further. He was in a tight position. He regretted his initial actions and would not want to go back to it. But he knew that if he chickened out now, these men would come for both him and Angela. So he decided to play along. Before Sparrow left, he gave Williams clear instructions. "You will continue to pretend that you are still insane so as to deceive them while we make our plans to get you out of here. Only you can finish up the sacrifice of that girl. Don't try anything funny. You are being watched." Williams nodded, but he was really worried. He needed to see Angela as soon as possible. He needed to warn her, but then he knew he could not go through the police because that would make the whole matter worse. The next morning, Angela and Dr. Eunice drove to the facility where Williams was being held. When they arrived, they were led to a visitation room. Williams sat on a long bench with his eyes vacant and unseeing. Angela leaned closer. "Williams," she called, but he did not respond and only continued staring blankly ahead. "Williams, please," she pleaded. "I need your help. Someone is threatening me. They are sending me letters and making calls." But still, Williams said nothing. Dr. Eunice then chipped in. "We think it is someone from your past, perhaps someone connected to the cult. If you know anything, please tell us." Williams blinked slowly and shifted his gaze slightly. Then, without warning, he began to mutter incoherently, rocking back and forth. Frustration and desperation welled up inside Angela. "Stop pretending," she accused. "I know you are not really insane." William's eyes flickered, meeting hers for a brief moment. He raised a finger to his lips in a shushing motion, then softly gestured with his hands. Angela watched on confused as he made a small writing motion with his hands. "I think he wants to write something," Dr. Eunice observed. Angela nodded and brought out a little paper and pen from her purse. Williams picked up the pen and scribbled something quickly. He then pushed the paper back. Angela retrieved the notes with shaky hands. "They are watching me. I am being forced to act this way. I want to help you, but it is dangerous. Trust no one." Angela's eyes widened. She looked up at Williams, who had resumed his vacant stare. Dr. Eunice read the notes over her shoulder. "This is serious. We need to inform the authorities," she whispered. Angela whispered back, "But who can we trust?" He said, "Trust no one." "We'll just have to be cautious," Dr. Eunice agreed. "But we can't handle this alone." Unknown to them, outside the facility, a shadowy figure watched from a distance. Sparrow, who was a high-ranking member of the cult, had been monitoring their movements, and his dark eyes followed Angela and Dr. Eunice as they left the building. He pulled out his phone, dialing a number. "They are onto us," he spoke codedly. "We need to accelerate the plan." A voice on the other end responded. "What about Williams?" "I will handle him," Sparrow replied. "He won't jeopardize the Brotherhood." He ended the call, and a sinister smile crept across his face. The game was in motion, and he was very sure he would win. Back at Dr. Eunice's home, they sat in the living room deliberating. "We need to involve the police," Dr. Eunice stated firmly. "But who?" Angela questioned. Williams said not to trust anyone. Dr. Eunice considered for a moment. "But we just need someone reliable. I have a contact, Detective Mark Stevens. He is an old friend and one of the few people I trust implicitly." Angela nodded slowly. "Okay, let's talk to him." That evening, Detective Stevens joined them at the house. He was a tall man in his late 40s with deep eyes and a no-nonsense character. "I have been briefed on the situation," he began, "and I assure you, we will do everything in our power to protect you." Angela studied him, searching for any sign of duplicity. "How do we know we can trust you?" He met her gaze steadily. "You don't, but I give you my word. I have no patience for corruption or injustice. This cult has been on our radar for a while, but we have lacked sufficient evidence to take them down." Dr. Eunice chimed in. "Williams is willing to help, but he's under their watch. We need to find a way to communicate with him safely." Detective Stevens nodded. I can arrange that. In the meantime, Angela, you will need protection. I will assign a security detail to you. Thank you very much, Angela said softly, feeling a little bit at ease. Meanwhile, Sparrow had his own plans. He met with an officer, Officer Daniels, a policeman who seemed willing to cooperate with him. They sat in a secluded booth at a dimly lit bar. I need Williams extracted, Sparrow stated bluntly. Can you handle it? Daniel smirked. For the right price, I can handle anything. Sparrow slid a thick envelope across the table. This is half payment. You will get the rest when the job is done. Get him out quietly, no one can know. As they parted ways, Sparrow felt confident. With Williams back under their control, they could proceed with their ultimate goal, the completion of the ritual involving Angela. The next day, Detective Stevens arranged for Angela to visit Williams again, but this time under more secure conditions. They met in a private room with only a trusted guard present. Williams, Angela began. We need your help. The cult is after me again. Please tell us what you know. Williams leaned forward and whispered, they are planning something big. Sparrow is orchestrating everything. They need me to complete the ritual, but this time it will be done physically. They want to take you out. Detective Stevens then interjected, do you know where their hideout is? Williams nodded. Yes, it is at an old warehouse on the outskirts of town, but it is heavily guarded. Can you get us inside? The detective asked. Williams looked conflicted. I can, but it is very risky. They will be watching me closely now. Angela pleaded gently. Please, Williams, help us stop them. He looked at her remorsefully. I will. I owe you that much. Unaware of the police involvement, Sparrow proceeded with his plan. Officer Daniels arranged for Williams to be transferred, fabricating paperwork and creating a cover story. On the day of the transfer, Williams feigned compliance. As they exited the facility, he noticed a van parked nearby with Sparrow leaning against it. Good work, Sparrow nodded at Daniels. Your payments will be wired to you. Daniels smiled. Pleasure doing business. Williams climbed into the van with his mind racing. He knew the police were counting on him, but he needed to play his part convincingly too. That evening, Angela sat in Dr. Eunice's living room, surrounded by police officers and a detailed map spread across the coffee table. Are you sure about this? Dr. Eunice asked out of concern. Angela took a deep breath. This is the only way to draw them out. If they think I am alone and vulnerable, they will make their move. Detective Stevens nodded. Our team will be in position too. We will monitor everything. Just be careful, Dr. Eunice implored. I will, Angela assured her, even though her hands trembled slightly. They finalized the plan. Angela would go to a public garden, pretending to be studying alone, but plainclothes officers will be stationed nearby, ready to intervene. The sun cast long shadows as Angela sat on a bench in the garden with an open textbook on her lap. She tried to steady her breathing, but her heart raced uncontrollably. She glanced around subtly, spotting Detective Stevens disguised as a jogger and another officer posing as a gardener. Just then, a black van screeched to a halt at the garden's edge, and Sparrow emerged with his eyes locked onto her. Showtime, Angela whispered to herself. Sparrow approached swiftly. Fancy seeing you here, little girl, he sneered at Angela. Angela looked up, feigning shock. Who are you? What do you want? Oh, I'm here for just a friendly chat, Sparrow replied, stepping closer. And just before she could react, two men grabbed her from behind. Angela struggled, but a cloth was pressed over her mouth and the sickly sweet scent overwhelmed her senses, knocking her out. Detective Stevens signaled his team, moving, and they immediately went in pursuit after Sparrow and his men. Angela awoke in a dimly lit room. She was bound to a chair and her wrists ached from the tight ropes. She looked around and saw symbols painted on the walls, dark arcane markings that sent a shiver down her spine. "Welcome back," Sparrow's voice echoed as he entered the room. "We have been waiting for you." Angela pleaded, "Please don't hurt me, let me go." And just then, Williams appeared behind Sparrow. "Williams," Angela gasped, "what are you doing?" Williams stepped forward. "I am sorry, Angela. This is the only way. There is no escaping now." Angela's eyes were filled with betrayal. "You lied to me, Williams." Sparrow smirked. "Did you really think it would help you? He is one of us." They then led her to a central chamber where a ceremonial altar stood with candles flickering around it. The other cult members gathered, their faces hidden behind masks, and Sparrow began chanting in a language Angela didn't recognize. Angela closed her eyes shut as she couldn't bear to see the shiny sharp knife in Sparrow's hands, which would be her end. But just as he approached her, William suddenly lunged at Sparrow, knocking him off balance. "Now!" he shouted with all his strength. And at that moment, the doors burst open and the police stormed in. Chaos erupted. Officers moved swiftly, apprehending the cult members. Sparrow fought back fiercely, his eyes wide with rage, but he was handcuffed by the policemen. "You traitor!" he screamed at Williams. "You dare betray the Brotherhood?" Williams squared his shoulders and faced him. "It is over, Sparrow. You won't hurt Angela or anyone again." The cult members were rounded up and their operations dismantled. The evidence collected from the hideouts linked them to numerous unsolved crimes that was enough to put them away for life. At the police station, Angela had just finished writing her statement when Dr. Eunice arrived and embraced her tightly. "I was so worried," she whispered. "I'm okay," Angela reassured her, thanks to Williams and the police. Detective Stevens approached them. "You did incredibly well, Angela. Your bravery helped us take down a very dangerous group." Angela smiled faintly. "I'm glad I could help. At least other girls won't have to fall into their trap." Williams faced trial, but his cooperation and assistance in bringing down the cult worked in his favor, and so he was sentenced to only 1 year in prison with mandatory rehabilitation, while the other members of the cult got life imprisonment jail term. But before being taken away, Williams met with Angela one last time. "I am so sorry for everything," he said earnestly. "I fully regret my actions." Angela looked at him, seeing the remorse in his eyes. "I forgive you, and I hope you find peace." He smiled sadly. "Thank you. I hope you can too." With the ordeal behind her, Angela could finally breathe fresh air. She moved back into her home without any fear of danger. Months later, Angela attended a charity event hosted by the university for students aimed at supporting victims of trauma, and she was opportuned to mount the stage to share her story with the audience. I stand here today not as a victim but as a survivor, she declared. God has given us the strength to overcome the darkness in our lives, but we must also make the right decisions. If not, the consequences might be fatal, and not everyone could be lucky like me. After the event, Angela mingled with fellow students, offering words of encouragement to them. A young woman approached her hesitantly. "Your story touched me," she said softly. "I have been through something similar." Angela took her hands. "You are not alone. There is hope and there is help." 1 year later, Angela received a letter one evening from Williams. "Dear Angela, I wanted to let you know that I have completed my sentence and have been released. I am committed to making amends and using my experiences to help others avoid the path I took. Thank you for your forgiveness. It gave me the strength to change. Wishing you all the best, Williams." Angela folded the letter thoughtfully. People could change, she realized. Redemption was possible if only the person was willing. As she sat on the bed watching the sunset paint the sky orange and pink, Angela felt a profound sense of peace. The journey had led to the liberation of many. Thank you for watching this story. Kindly share your thoughts about the story with me in the comment section. Give the story a thumbs up also, and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so. Thank you and remain blessed.